welcome to today's video. If you're new, my name is Grace. Welcome. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. I have a special guest. If you didn't see our part 1, I will link it down below. It's a conversation between us. My friend Liv is here with us. She is a pregnancy and pelvic floor fitness coach. And so today, in this video, we are going to be doing a little bit of a demo on some different movements. So I'm just going to hand it right over to her, and we'll just see how I do.
Yay! I'm so excited. Okay, so let's also preface this with, and I'm sure you shared, that you have a diastasis, you can say it right, but that you have been concerned about. So let's take a look together and assess what that looks like.
Right.
And if you can, adjust your camera, and I'll have you start on your back, and we're gonna kind of take a look. Perfect. Okay. So yep, you can just move the bench for now, and we'll use it in a little bit. But yeah, you can just lay on your back when you've got it all settled. Yep. Awesome. And then if you can bring your shirt up like more like rib cage or like right under base of your sports bra. And if you don't mind, like pants down just a little bit more too. Yeah, like maybe in there. That'd be great. Okay, cool. So first of all, I'm gonna have you take your fingers and kind of just stick them like right below, like, so your ribs kind of come together right up here, right? So right around that spot, start there. And we're just going to lift your head up off the floor. Does that gap that you feel, and you can rest your head for a second, and you can kind of go down the midline. Yeah, you can kind of go down and see, like, go down past your belly button. Yeah. Does that gap, is it wider than your 2 fingers? And you can rest your head for a second if you want to, and kind of reset.
It's a little wider, not terribly.
Not really. So it's really around 2 fingers or so.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna have you relax for a second, and just for the sake of like people watching, a lot of times you'll hear people talk about like 2 fingers, like that's what they're trying to get you to.
Yeah.
If you're 2 fingers, that's not necessarily something to like freak out about, because it's not just about, which I know we talked about, it's not just about how the distance between your abs, like that connective tissue in the abdominal walls right there, but also how deep that goes. And it looked like for you had some deeper spots, right? So let's do the same thing again. And this time, instead of focusing on how wide it is, like go down the line and just see what feels the squishiest or the deepest for you.
Definitely like right above my belly button. That's where it gets.
Okay. Can you do that again with your other hand so that people watching can kind of, because I can kind of see, but I know what I'm looking for. Yep. Right there. Yeah.
Here, for sure.
Like dig around in there, and then go back up where it's not as squishy, just so we can see the difference.
Yeah.
Okay. And then go back to your squishier spot and just kind of like live right there. Yeah. Okay, cool. And then go below your belly button too.
Okay.
Right there. So that is less squishy, right? And that's kind of what it's looking like. Okay, cool. So I'll have you can come up for a second, and then we're going to play with something. But those 2 things are kind of what we're looking at with the diastasis, is how wide is it and how deep is it?
Okay.
And even if something is super duper squishy and your fingers are going like up to knuckles, because there can be some really deep diastasis, that's okay. Like, and if it feels freaky, that's okay that it feels freaky to you, but don't, and this is just for anybody watching this, like, don't let people freak you out about it. Like, I think some healthcare providers just aren't up to date on research, and like that there are things you can do to heal and to have a functional core. And so, that's number 1. And if you know that you are kind of a basket case about it, maybe you don't need to assess it yourself, So I'm just putting that out there for other people. But I think for you, because I know you're curious and I feel like you are in a healthy spot with it, I think this is good for you to kind of get an idea. So now let's play around. So I'm going to have you go back to the same position.
Okay.
Same exact thing, but we're going to add a little cue to see if we can increase that the tension on your midline so it's not so squishy.
Okay.
So fun. I'm such a nerd. Okay, yeah. So yeah, shirt and pants, same exact thing.
Right.
Okay, so before we we'll pick your head up in a second, but first, I just want you to kind of let's focus on breath for just a moment. Can you bring your hands like palms on your hip bones, bring your fingers in? Yep, just like that. And I just want you to take no, don't count. I was like, I'm gonna have you thinking about your breath, so don't worry about counting. I'll tell you when to stop. But we're just gonna focus on some inhales where you're thinking about kind of inhaling into your rib cage, kind of going wide, inhaling into your back and into your hands. So it's kind of a 360 situation. Things are filling up with air. Yep. So on your inhale, just get a couple breaths with that. Don't worry about your exhale. Just kind of let it out. Can you feel your chest coming up?
A little bit, yes.
Okay, just for the sake of, I feel like this is gonna click a little differently for you. Roll toward me on your side.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So now you can go kind of hand under your head for like a prop. Yep, totally resting. Awesome. And then bring your hand. And this is actually in my freebie guide too. So this breath. So if you're interested in looking at that too. So your thumb can be on the back side. Go. Yep. A lot of times people will go waist, but that's where I want you is like on your rib cage. Okay. So here, curl up into a ball with your knees a little bit. Yeah. And then I want you to see if as you breathe, can you feel your thumb moving and expanding? Like, is the rib cage expanding? Does that make sense? So sometimes on your it's really hard for people to feel. So I just wanted to switch your position. But like take a couple breaths where you focus on just that expansion.
Okay.
Awesome.
There's also a baby in the room, so if anybody
baby sneezes, it's so cute. Okay, so now we're gonna go back to your back. So a lot of times I'll have people focus on just inhales for a while, but because I want to kind of move into some other things with you, we're gonna talk about your exhale. So taking our filling up with air, think about that rib cage filling up versus like your boobs and your chest kind of rising. So even there, try to expand into the floor first. Ooh, that's better. Yeah. And see if you can feel like those thumbs too. Because especially with a diastasis, it might already be natural for all the air to go to someone's belly. So we do want to hit the sides and the back. Cool. Now, the exhale. Here's where it gets fun. So you're going to exhale. And when you do, imagine picking up a blueberry with your vagina. Okay. You're not going to crush it. You're just going to gently pick it up. And what we're going to do with that exhale is at the same time as you kind of exhale and you lift, or like a split second after that, lift your head up. And then you can have your hands in the spot where it was squishy, and let's like see how it feels. So go ahead and do a sit up without thinking and just kind of feel the squish. So you kind of have a...
Yep, there's the squish.
Okay, so keep your hand in the same exact spot. Come down. Okay, so I want you to inhale, take a big wide inhale, then exhale, pick up your blueberry, and after you pick it up, then lift your head. Did you feel a difference in squish?
Yeah. Whoa.
Okay. So the ability to create tension, like you just did, like on the midline, that is a great sign. Like, okay, our core function is there and it improves with the breath, and anybody can improve that. So if someone's concerned about squish, well, we got to look at it more than just at rest. We have to look at it under load. So if you're with a PT, they need to be looking at more than just at rest. Like what else are we doing, right? So that's step number one. That's awesome. Love that you could feel that. So sweet. Okay, so let me look at my notes. I wanted to also, let's take it into some movement for you. So if you don't mind kind of keeping your shirt and pants in the same spot, that will let us see in other movements what we notice. So can we start with, you tell me, planking. Do you plank on the floor right now? Do you plank on an incline?
I haven't been, but in my past life, I did lots of planking.
Have you planked at all, or is that something you've been afraid of?
I've been more afraid of it.
That's fair. That gets demonized a lot. Like everybody's like, oh gosh, coning or doming.
Yeah.
Coning or doming is not the end of the world. It's information. It's telling you that you're sending pressure out here. So can we redistribute the pressure? Can we get it when we talk about like 360 breathing? Can we get it more up here and more spread around and not just in one spot? And so instead of fearing it, it's just a sign like, hey, let's adjust a little bit. So, and you seriously do not have a significant diastasis, so like, well, you good, sister. Like things that feel squishy to you, like that is something that will get stronger over time as you train it for sure.
Yeah.
So let's look at a plank on your bench. And if you need something for your elbows, like cushion wise, but we'll just kind of test it out. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Core-wise.
I don't see anything that's like bulging.
Okay.
So let's play around with, do you have anything slightly lower or is it like just straight to the floor? Because we can try the floor.
Like bench-wise? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, let's try the floor and just see. But if it feels uncomfortable, we'll come back to the bench. Yep.
I'm sorry, Wayne.
How's it feel?
I just don't have tons of strength anymore.
Okay.
But it doesn't be hurting or anything.
All right, coming down for just a second. Does it feel like there's pressure or just like this is hard?
Mostly just this is hard.
Okay, so let's come back to the bench, and what we'll do is I'll cue you through some breathing and see if we can get like just a good solid feeling of like pressure being managed and like hanging out, and we'll try it and see how it feels for like 30 seconds. Does that sound scary on the bench, or does that sound okay?
Oh, I think I can do 30 seconds.
I'm really proud of you. You're facing fears.
No, I mean, everything that you said about the, like, you don't have to be too terrified about the coning and the doming. That is what I've been scared of. So,
yeah.
I appreciate you making that clear.
Yeah, you have to have also some imperfect reps to like move into to get it right, to get to a good spot. I don't want to say perfection, but like to move into a spot where it is great or ideal for you, you have to get some reps. And that might involve a few reps that aren't ideal. That's okay.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so if you can you angle oh wait, I think I'll be able to see you. Just kidding. Okay, so when you come up into your plank, we're going to have that same concept of like kind of holding on to a blueberry, but only with the amount of tension that you need. So we're not trying to make wine out of your blueberry. We're not squeezing for dear life, but we're just holding enough for the task. Okay. So when you're ready, I'll start the timer.
All right, here we
go. Okay, cool. Can you bring your butt down a little bit? Yep. Whoop. Or I say butt. Actually, think of bringing, like if I were going to punch you in the ribs and you brought your ribs in and back a little bit. There you go. And she's breathing, and we've got that blueberry and that lift. And coming down. How's that?
That was good. The blueberry visual is very helpful.
Do you feel like you can hold that? Do you feel like you lose it and then pick it up again? Or like, how does that?
I felt like I was losing it and picking it back up again a couple of times.
That's okay. So that's information for you. It's like, well, maybe I need to start either you could do a higher incline, or there's nothing wrong at all with starting with 10-second planks.
Okay.
And build up from there. And don't go from 10 to a minute, but like gradually work your way there. One thing I want to show you, I want to see if I can demo this. So like the cue that I had for you with moving your hips. Let me see. Hold on. I'm going to bring you over here. So when you are, take off my socks because I feel like that's gonna go well. Okay, so you kind of, you have like, do you see what's happening right there?
Yeah.
Think of like kind of bringing things up just a little.
Okay.
Like the rib cage kind of wants to dump out. And
Right.
this is really common. Like I see this all the time with people when we first start working together. So when instead of that rib cage coming out, think of kind of bringing it down a little bit. Like if someone was going to punch me, I would kind of brace for the punch.
Okay.
Kind of what you're thinking about.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can play with planks. I would say maybe you start at the bench, or maybe you go a smidge higher. I think you might feel a little better if you could elevate it just a little bit more, and see how it feels and test it out. So that's the plank. Then let's play with, if you're comfortable with it, a knees push up.
Okay. On
the floor. Yep, right there. So this is also a great practice for that same position as that plank, right? Like with your rib cage and where everything's at. Yep, right about there. So here, let's play with an inhale down, and then I want you to exhale and think of like things coming together as you press back up. Awesome. Yep, and let's do like 3 more. Inhale down and then exhale up. Cool. Do 1 more. Yep. How's that feel?
It feels pretty good. Again, I'm just
challenging.
Yeah.
Just need to get that's okay. And what I would have somebody do working those is I would also have you let go of your belly at the top. Like let go of some tension. Just for you won't always do that, but sometimes like if when we're learning, we might end up being just overly tight. And that can contribute to like pelvic floor as well. So we want just core and pelvic floor, like just being able to let go of tension as well as create it. Like you need both. So that's your push-up situation. So let's see, what are you most interested in? I'll let you kind of choose. The squat or the hinge?
Let's do the squat.
Okay, cool. So you said, will baby girl be cool with you being the weight for your squat? Or do you think it'd be better since she's
absolutely.
Girl, you look good. Oh, hello. Are we looking at which one?
Evie.
Is what? Evie?
Evie.
Mm-hmm. Evie. Okay. Sorry. I know a friend with a baby named Evie. Okay. Evie. Yeah. Okay. So let's play with, oh my goodness. Are you happy to see the screen? So let's do like standing up. Then we'll play with your squat. So have you been squatting with weight?
I have. I'm going to go ahead and move you over here. Up a little bit higher. I have been squatting with weight. I didn't ever think to squat with my actual babies.
I know, right? You've got
I'm just using my regular weights.
Okay, so let's hold on the front.
Okay.
Okay, so turn sideways for me. Yep, beautiful. So look, already where we're holding, because we kind of talked about this, a little bit of that butt shoved forward. Can you think of her resting more on your forearm and then putting your butt behind you a little bit? How does that feel?
Yeah, it's different, but yeah,
it's challenging. It is challenging on your arms, but it's giving like pelvic floor, like and your backside a rest and like letting your butt chill out. So just that's number 1. Okay, so now for your squat, let's just think about a nice like wide inhale at the rib cage, and then just try exhaling through the whole thing, down and back up. And it's okay if baby tips forward a little bit. You don't have to stay totally vertical. Cool. Exhale through the whole thing. Cool. How does that feel?
That feels very different. Again, yeah. And I'm usually just like holding weights on the side, so having it on the front, it just has a different feeling.
So when we talk about diastasis, diastasis, say that 10 times fast. But like when we talk about the midline and we talk about strengthening that midline, you have to load it to strengthen it. That's right. And so when people say
Right.
like, don't do this, they're missing it. Like a
Yeah.
plank in the
Yeah.
right context and the right appropriate level is going to strengthen the midline. So this is a front loaded thing. So if you hold your weight, whether it's a baby or a dumbbell in the front, we're loading the front again. So it's helpful. It's a double whammy, right? It's a squat and we're loading our core from the front. So one thing I would say when you're looking at your squats moving forward is just notice the rib cage wants to go out. So thinking like ribs over hips, keep them the same and kind of move through that range of motion. Do you want to try a few more? Let's go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. How's that feel?
That's better. That's why I wanted to do squats with you, because I was like, I feel like I'm doing it wrong. And so,
does that feel better?
It does feel better, yeah.
Cool. Wow. Cool. That's awesome. Love that. Okay, cool. Okay, so next up, this will be the fun little challenge. Since you have twins, can we hold them both?
Yes.
And like test this out. Also, if you feel like you need to set a baby down for rest, because you've done a lot. Ready? I'm setting a timer. Okay, turn sideways for me. Cool. Just so I can see that. And then in a minute, I'll have you turn. So can we kind of gather up a little more and think of getting a good squeeze? I'm not trying to flex my muscle, but like think about your lat and like them kind of having some tension up here.
Okay.
And then letting your butt go behind you some more. Like imagine like sending your butt to the wall a little bit, just a hair. Yep. Okay. How does that feel?
That is, I can definitely feel it on my back for sure. Wow.
Okay, so that's telling us like you can set a baby down then, but you feel like you're lower back there?
Yes.
Okay, so that's telling us probably, I would say like core wise, we need a little more help. And it just means like we need to strengthen core. And I think that would feel better. And so when you think of like side planks are great strengthening, like we want to strengthen obliques and like all of the abs, like not just the front. We want to hit transverse, oblique, the whole deal. So like things like side planks and farmer carries, like if you've seen those, I mean, you are doing a farmer carry every day because you walk around your house with your babies, right? Yeah. But like practice with a breath. Like see if when you hold them, and we can do that now if you want to, but practice like, can I get a good breath in, exhale, and then just like keep breathing, but maintaining some tension that's distributed everywhere. Yeah. So it's not just the weight of the baby is all in my arm and everything else is chilling. It's like there's a little bit of oomph everywhere. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Cool. I think if you want to, we can do the hinge pattern. That was the only other thing I kind of had on my list.
Sure, let's do that. Let's try it.
Okay. So are you doing glute bridges or deadlifts now? Like what is that?
I do glute bridges.
Cool. Okay. So let's do for funsies. Will she be happy if you set her down for a second? Okay, cool. So they're not crawling yet?
They are like on the cusp of crawling. They're not quite there.
Still in the vegetable baby a little bit. You can still like sit them down. Okay, so if you will, in a second we'll play with using a baby, but I'm going to have you get by that. I guess that's a closet door. And then I'll show you kind of what we're looking for. So go turn the other way. Like I want your butt to the door.
Oh, my butt to the door? Or
to this, yes, that one. Perfect. Okay. So I'll show you. So if the wall is back here, we're going to imagine, okay, so ribs over hips, relax that butt, and then just send it straight back. I tell clients like going to the club, like you're just sticking your butt out. And then bend your knees to try to get your butt to the wall. Yep. Yes. Okay, so this is going to sound weird. And then standing up. Imagine This is the only cue I've got. It's kind of like your butthole opening up. Like when you open, like imagine like your pelvic bones, like things kind of opening on the back side. So you're hinging, things open, and things then you kind of gently contract standing up.
Okay. Like that, or?
Yep, keep going. There you go. Cool. Yes. Do you feel that straighten up? I love that.
Yeah.
Try to keep just like that same, like without getting wiggly in your spine. Yes. And then really try to send your butt back to that wall. Yes. Awesome. So how does that feel? Tell me what you notice.
That actually feels really good. It does feel more unnatural, so I think I've been doing that kind of stuff wrong. So I appreciate you like showing what it actually should look like, because
so let me show you, because I think this will help you too. If we can get you to hinge more, because you're already you deadlift every day with your babies, right? And so we need to get that pattern really solid for you, and that could be part of your back pain too. It seems like this needs to open up and let go. I think you're holding on a lot, and that's normal, right? That happens a lot. So this is my broom, but I'm going to show you what might help you when you like play around with these later, because this is going to set you up for a deadlift. So head, shoulders, tailbone are touching that situation. And then I hinge to the wall without losing, like, so if I tuck my tailbone under, I'm going to lose my tail. Does that make sense?
Right.
So you want to keep all 3 points. Or if you start trying to bend over, like forward, versus kind of keeping that upper body a little stiffer, then you're going to lose that. So I think that'd be that's a great starting point for you. Yeah. And then you can also play with, like, for example, let's try it with a baby right now, since we are together. Pick a baby, any baby. Like, you can have them like seated. Let's try it where they're sitting up on the floor. And then you pick them up from the floor.
I was going to say, then you get the...
Can you keep that as a blooper?
Own cat in the background. All right. Can you not throw yourself back just for a minute, my darling? All right.
The cat. I didn't even really pay attention until you said it.
Oh my God. Okay.
So you go in the same position. Like, let's still have the wall as your base.
Okay.
Yes. Yep. There you go. So you're going to kind of go up under armpits for picking up. But first, like, imagine hinging back towards that wall. Yep. And then go for it. And we'll just do a nice exhale when you pick her up.
Okay. Ooh, that is hard to not bend your...
Yeah. And so I think your back is taking a lot of your load when you pick them up. Wow. Okay, let's try it again. If you and her are down for it. So same thing. I think,
I probably just need to go lower.
And you might have to squat a little more in the beginning while you're getting this figured out. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. So, like, and when you go back and watch this, you'll be able to see that, like, at what point that you have to physically bend at the spine, because you're not going to be able to reach in the hinge. And it just means we need some more length on the back side of your body, for sure. So do you have questions about that pattern or anything that we kind of worked through movement wise?
Well, I appreciate your visuals along with it, because as I go back and watch, and other people watching this, I'm sure they'll see all of my mistakes. So I appreciated how then you showed how it actually should look.
Yeah, and it's, I feel like, and just getting away from like how it should be or perfection, but like, is it working for you?
Right.
And I think that pattern isn't working for you. It's probably creating some of the symptoms that you experience, like with your back hurting. Yeah. And you'll get there, right? But that hinge pattern is going to be a big piece of like being able to to get there. And I've got a few ideas of things that you could do on your own too. And I can send you on the side, but like some breath work where we're focused on like your butt and things just like letting go. Yeah. I think will help you too. Yeah. Your butt's doing a lot of work for you because you've got a lot to do. Yeah. and somebody's going to pick up the slack. If the core's not online, then something else can do the job. Your body's a mastermind at getting the job done. Yeah. Which is brilliant. We're not going to fault our amazing body for it, but yeah, we could kind of like take some things and shift them around, shift the responsibility.
Yeah. Oh, that's so interesting. Thank you so much. Oh my God.
Yes, girl. That was kind of the stuff I was thinking of walking you through, and I hope that like gives you a good starting point, like exercise wise. Yeah. Like as far as what to do, like if you're not doing, let's say you're not, because you said you kind of fallen off because things are crazy right now. Maybe you just shoot for like 10 minutes a few times a week. Is that doable to you?
Doable, yes.
If it's something, then maybe that's where you fit in. Like you could download my free guide and you do like a few minutes, like 2 minutes of breathing, do a couple of the mobility things in there, and then do a couple of the strength movements we did here and leave it at that. Like it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be time consuming for things to improve or change for you.
Well, that's nice to know because I think many moms, we do feel like, well, I don't have, an hour to spend working out every day. So that is nice. If you don't have much time, then just 10 or 15.
Yeah, like 10 minutes, 2 or 3 times a week. Start there. Like anything is going to be helping you build a foundation. Anything will help. So for sure.
Well, thank you so much. This was so awesome. If anybody has any specific questions, feel free to shoot them my way and I will follow up with Liv. And
you can follow me on Instagram and ask me directly. Like I'm always an open book and happy to answer questions. I love this stuff and I love helping.
What is your Instagram handle for?
Livwell.coaching.
Livwell.coaching. And you also have a blog? Yes.
Yes, my website, oliviadykescoaching.com.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much. This has been such a joy. Loved it.
Yes, thank you for having me.
All right. See you guys later.